or FXBG Public Radio. For additional information, please refer to the United States Bill of Rights. Stand warned.
Switch back to A.
Are you kidding me? Okay.
I believe.
So do we have audio or not?
Yes, we have audio. We literally just fixed this.
Yeah. EK's having a bit of a day. So because of that, I had to go down to Chateau d'If, the basement here at the studio, to film this one. I thought it was a spookier vibe anyway. I have to carve, God will give me justice on this wall behind me, maybe. I think. We figured, this would be a spooky Halloween episode, so well, maybe like scare you a little bit. Welcome to Shock Monkey Radio. I'm your host, the Madman. You can go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio, become a patron today, or you can send me money through Cash App. Use the hashtag shockmonkeyradio. Follow me on social media over here. So EK screws up my cold open frequently. So I'm just gonna double check, make sure we got audio here. I tried to share it. I can't share it on Facebook. Yeah, we got audio because I have to switch. Then I got to go back into my notes. That's how I lost my notes last week. You ready to start the show?
Yeah, everything seems fine on this end. I don't know why A and B switched like that.
All right.
I'm confused, but it's working.
All right, man. Thank you. Thank you for all you do.
I don't understand.
All right. You remember that very special episode of Growing Pains where Mike and Boner got invited to a college party and they met this girl and this girl offered them cocaine and Mike he couldn't handle his high. He freaked out, stabs Boner, and runs out into the night. Boner was okay. They went to the hospital. There's a scene where the Seavers went to the hospital to see Boner, and that's where they said, yeah, we haven't seen Mike in 2 days. Mike hasn't been home in 2 days. And that night, Chrissy hears some noises coming from downstairs. She wanders downstairs, and she finds a very strung out Mike down there stealing valuables, putting him in a backpack, and they get to an argument, and she's like, why are you doing this, Mike? And he slaps her, and she starts crying real loud. Then Jason comes down the stairs with his pistol, right? And the lights are out. He can't see anybody, but he sees a prowler in the dark, and pow! He shoots, and then he turns on the light, and he realizes he shot and killed Mike. And then and he says in his classic Alan Thicke voice, what have I done? And then he looks at the pistol in his hand, and then it fades to black. Then you hear another, pa! And this episode happened in the 80s, and when the internet came to be, a lot of people were already talking about this episode, what actually happened there. It's if you go and look in those forums and stuff like that, along who actually shot JR and stuff like that. People were arguing and what happened after the fade to black in that episode. And a lot of people say that Dr. Seaver was a psychiatrist who probably turned it on himself. I'd like to think he went all Kaiser Soze with it and took out Chrissy, have her kill her. He'd rather.
Are you describing a real episode of this show?
Yeah, Growing Pains. You remember the very special episode where all this happened? Because people were talking about it on the internet, and there's a lot of debate that happens on the internet about what actually happened in that episode. I think he went all Kaiser Soze. It's I'd rather them not live another day.
I don't remember this episode.
You don't remember that episode? Okay. Well, it was a long time ago. My memory's not as good as it used to be. It kind of reminds me of that episode of Mr. Belvedere, that very special episode of Mr. Belvedere, where Wesley was playing in the school play as William Howard Taft, but he got the role for Abraham Lincoln because the kid who was playing Abraham Lincoln got AIDS. And
gosh.
Yeah. And so when the kid came over to give his Abraham Lincoln costume, because this was in the early 80s, there was a lot of misinformation about AIDS. And so, and so the kid came over to give her the Abraham Lincoln costume. And so Wesley and the kid are up in their room playing, and the kid pulls out a spoon and puts some powder in the spoon, a little bit of water and stuff like that, starts cooking it with a lighter. And Wesley's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm going to mainline the H train, which I think was the name of the episode, Mainline the H train. And so, but Mr. Belvedere comes in with a tray, and he's like, oh, no, boys, what are you about to do, share needles? No. And didn't he live in that house? Because he put down the tray, and he went to another room, and he came back with three clean needles, still in the packaging. And so he sat down with the boys, explained them how it's like, oh, you got too much water in this, and, you know, that kind of thing. It's like how to properly and safely mainline the H train. And so a lot of people, like, that was a really good message, you know, tell them not to share needles if you don't want to get AIDS. But, you know, this is the 80s. What was it, like 40 years ago? I don't know. Some details may have been skewed by time. I don't know.
The 80s were horrible.
The 80s were horrible, but they were kind of awesome, too. There's one more thing I was going to do, but I didn't want to do it. But I'm going to do it anyway. It's like, do you remember that episode, that very special episode of Diff'rent Strokes? Where the guy who ran the bike shop, like, invited Arnold into, and it's like, hey, come on into my apartment. I'll give you some ice cream. You remember this one?
No.
Yeah, and then he said, got another friend, and the friend came over, and he offered him wine and pizza and stuff like that. Showed him dirty movies.
This sounds like a kind of episode a lot of people would have repressed.
And so, and then, like, finally the guy says to him, it's like, Arnold, do you have any white friends about your age?
Jesus. Wow.
That's what I was writing this weekend.
Dark. Wow.
Google some of those things I said.
If they were real episodes, or if that was what was going on in the 80s.
Just Google some of the things I've said. When you tell lies, you sprinkle in a little bit of truth to make it believable. Because there was an episode of Growing Pains where Mike was offered cocaine. And it's at the end of it, Kirk Cameron gets on there and, like, explains, drugs are bad, okay? But, I mean, I like Kirk Cameron. I like how he stands up for what he believes in. But he probably doesn't like me after that story, so.
I'm so confused because it started out like, okay, yeah, I remember this kind of. And then you kind of veered.
Yes. Every single one of those scenarios happened in TV. There was an episode of Diff'rent Strokes for dealing with bad touch. There was an episode of Growing Pains, dealt with cocaine. And there was an episode, what was the other one I did? The Mr. Belvedere where the kid had AIDS.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Just sprinkled in the shows.
Well, they're trying to teach people lessons. Trying to turn us all into automatons.
Upstanding citizens?
Yeah, I guess. People think, like, media's got an objective. It kind of always had. Anyway, it's going to be Halloween. I've been thinking about, like, costumes. I don't often dress up in costumes. I'd like to tell myself it's because I'm an adult, and adults don't dress up in costumes. But, I mean, that's just silly. But dressing up as costumes is fun. But, I mean, with my body shape, it's not like I can wear a Spider-Man costume and pull it off. You know what I mean? You got to have, like, a real trim physique to pull off a Spider-Man costume. So what can I do? I can do Fat Thor from one of the Avengers movies. I get a baja and get a wig and wear sunglasses and be apathetic. Or I could do what I did one year, which is the Dr. Henry Killinger. This isn't me. I couldn't find a good picture of me in my costume. But this is similar to what the costume I had. And what's funny is, like, Dr. Henry Killinger is it's the kind of costume that could fit my body type, because that's the character. He's Dr. Henry Killinger. And even the character is so obscure that when I wore the costume, it was like nobody got the reference. You know? The costume I had, I don't really like his mask. Mine was like plain black, and his eyes glow in the show. So I had those little glow sticks that you break, the little tiny ones, and I, like, taped them into the inside of the mask so that I had a glowing yellow thing over my eyes. And the Killinger accent is obviously based upon Dr. Henry Kissinger, but he's like, I am Dr. Henry Killinger, and this is my magic murder bag, and it murders people. So what I did is I kept the candy in the doctor's bag, and when the kids would come up, it was like, here you go, children. I am Dr. Henry Killinger, and this is my magic candy bag. And I would say things like, and remember, children, you must take one piece of candy each, for we are all equal in our brave new society. What was the other one? And remember to brush tonight, children, for good dental hygiene is important to us all. Because that's kind of the character, well, when they first started introducing the character in the Venture Brothers for Dr. Henry Killinger, is he's this terrifying man who says nice things, you know, and love is not to be private, love is to be shared, you know.
It's the,
yeah,
it's the dark delivery.
It's the dark delivery of, like, beautiful things that are always great.
And
then they turned him into an evil
positive,
character.
But make it sound very sad.
Yeah, make it sound very sad. This woman is here to save you. You silly Billy.
I feel like the reason you wear those kind of costumes, though, is because you want to find the person that gets it.
Right.
Like, I wore this obscure costume to find the other person that gets the obscure costume.
Exactly. I didn't get that. Instead, I just ended up scaring some children and some adults yelling at me from the road. Hey, tone it down. It's like, you kidding me?
So maybe you went just a little too obscure.
I told your kid to brush their teeth. All right?
That's on you. That's on you that you made you feel weird.
I said be fair and leave candy for everybody. Don't just shove your hand in there and grab a handful of candy. Because it's friggin' expensive. Vote for Trump. Bring those candy prices down.
Is.
Yeah.
Luke?
Yeah.
He wanted to give out candy this year. I said, listen, bud, we are not give out candy.
There's so many porch
bracket.
lights. There's going to be so many porch lights out this year.
We are not give out candy tax bracket family.
Yeah.
We are trick-or-treating tax bracket family.
Go to a rich neighborhood, get to trick-or-treat family.
You're trick-or-treating till we're 15, 16, but
yeah. And I wonder
squat when you get older.
when I'm sure every town has this, like neighborhoods that like really go all out in Halloween. Like, there's a neighborhood not too far from here. I don't want to point it out or anything, but you go in there on Halloween, it is cars parked on the side of the road. Yeah, you know yeah, okay. He knows what I'm talking about. And every other house is like a haunted house. Somebody made up like a haunted house, and it's an experience.
Oh yeah.
People get into Halloween. I get it. I would like to wear a costume, but I don't have many costume options. Why don't you lose some weight, fat ass? Okay. No need for me to be cruel to me about it.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. I'm making fun of my friend.
Sorry, I'll kick your ass. Kick your ass if you don't stop making fun of my friend. You ever get in these arguments with yourself? Then realize a friend is in the room? How about scary movies? You don't really like scary movies, do you?
It's the blood. That's
the blood,
problem.
okay.
I like thrillers. I like the anticipation. Jump scare me all day. I don't want to see blood and guts.
Yeah. See, I like, I was thinking about this, like what movies I think are like really good scary movies. And I think I mentioned it like last week. Stir of Echoes.
Oh,
is a good
couple unsettling scenes.
Yeah, there's a couple of unsettling scenes, but it's a good movie. And I hate to keep bringing it back to Twilight Zone, but having Twilight Zone on all day on Halloween is awesome. And it's not like gore or blood and guts. It's like a lot of suspense. What's that?
Pluto TV. If you don't have it,
no, I don't. Pluto TV,
24-hour a day Twilight Zone channel.
That's awesome.
Pluto TV is free.
Okay, so that's what I mean. That's right. It's free. EK says. I don't know. I just watch YouTube because they're so nice to me.
24-hour a day Twilight Zone channel.
I would recommend that. I was thinking about like this one old movie. Like you probably don't like The Exorcist, right?
No.
Okay. There's one called The Changeling with George C. Scott. I think it's pretty good.
They remade that.
Yeah.
I think they remade it. An Apple series.
Oh, okay. But that was kind of The Ring before The Ring. The Ring is kind of a scary movie too.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Do you like The Ring?
Yes, I like it.
Okay. See, it's hard to tell, like what?
No gore.
Yeah, no gore. Okay.
It was just
suspense. Yeah, unsettling. Yeah.
Unsettling.
You ever seen that movie Orphan?
No.
Oh my God.
Oh wait, is that the one about the little girl that's not really a little girl?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I've not seen it, but I've heard about it.
It's. Woo.
I heard that's based on a true story.
Yes, it is based on a true story. And not gonna they adopt this little girl from Russia. They keep coming in her room and she's drinking schnapps and vodka.
Yeah. I remember. I remember reading about that. Like when it was in the news that. Happened.
What are you doing in there? Knock, knock, knock. What are you doing, little girl? Drinking vodka. Leave me alone.
Taking back.
I'm here in the Big PX.
Playing with rubber duck.
But in the movie, it's like she's painting really weird pictures on the walls in like the glow paint or whatever that you can't see during the day.
Ugh.
Yeah. Pretty terrifying movie. Anyway, happy Halloween. Hope you guys have fun. Hope you can afford some candy. I was watching I watch movies obviously quite a bit. And I was watching a heavy movie that had a heavy drama, and I was like, ugh. I started it. I'm going to sit there and watch it, and I'm watching. And the credits come up at the end of the movie, and I was like, I half expected like a bunch of funny outtakes. How come when you watch like a serious movie or a drama, the credits don't include any funny outtakes? Like especially a movie like say Schindler's List.
They had to have some unserious moments.
Right.
They had to just to get through the material.
All right. But why couldn't you like put some funny outtakes of like Ray Fiennes screwing up his line and going, oh, bloody hell, let me try that again.
Slipping accents.
Yeah, slipping in and out of accents, And so that would have been, I don't know, a little bit of levity that you kind of needed at the end of a movie like Schindler's List. But they never do that. It's like always in a comedy. In a comedy, they'll throw up all the, I messed up, all that kind of stuff. But in a serious movie, you don't see a whole lot of that.
No.
Why? Because you're filming a scene, maybe. And so what we do is with the Jews is what we do with them is oh wait, I messed it up. Not the Jews, the Germans. I keep screwing it up. Because I don't know, maybe people think you can't be funny. You can't screw up a line in a serious movie and think it's funny. This is a serious subject. This is about the Holocaust. I understand that. But if you're an actor, wouldn't you rather work on a comedy movie than a drama movie?
I wonder how many survivors
of like Holocaust survivors
of the Holocaust made it through because of humor.
Right. Absolutely. You'd have to. I think you'd have to. But when it comes to like the serious movies, I was like, some of them could benefit from a gag reel. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And what was the one I watched? It pissed me off so bad, but I ended up watching it. What the hell was it? Someone to Watch Over Me? It was listed under thriller because some people died in it, but it's just about this guy cheating on his wife with a girl who was uglier, The guy's wife was the Lorraine Bracco or whatever her name is, the girl from Goodfellas who played Ray Liotta's wife. She's incredibly hot. And this other blonde girl he's watching because he's a detective. He's got to watch this girl who's a main witness in a murder. And so he goes and cheats on his wife with this uglier girl. And I don't get it. I sat through the whole thing. I said, that needed some outtakes or something because it was horrible. Anyway, wow, we're moving right along. I'll go through this real quick because I'm always on the trail of horses.
Did I make a mistake?
What?
Was this supposed to come up?
Not yet. Oh. Wait, we can keep it up right now because I'm going to talk about it. You know who that is?
Is it Killinger?
No. That, first of all, the horse doesn't need glasses. They don't even really look that way. All right? Second of all, that, let me get the name right, is Bamboo Harvester. That is the horse that played Mr. Ed in the TV series. Long dead. 1970 he died. Thank goodness. But he had a stunt double. The horse had a stunt double named Pumpkin. Why does a horse need a stunt double? All right. Now, when I started thinking about the whole Mr. Ed angle when it comes to this conspiracy, the horse conspiracy, you got to understand it's like there's a section of humanity that enables the horses, that allows this to happen. There's some human in Hollywood somewhere that said, we need a stunt double for this horse. Well, what's special about this horse? We don't know. It's just a horse after all. What are they up to? Look at that. There's something going on in there. You know what I mean? And don't think
looking straight ahead. Horses aren't supposed to do
that. They're not supposed to do that. Exactly.
Why do I feel like it's looking right at me with the
glasses? I know. It's terrifying. And putting the American flag behind us, it makes me so mad as an American patriot. You know? We got to start taking this problem with the horses seriously. You know? This has been going on. This show is in the 50s. This is
unsettling to look at.
This show is in the 50s. And people were laughing their heads off about it. You can't let yourself become complacent to the true horse conspiracy. And you got to understand that because there was a stunt double for Bamboo Harvester, that humans are complicit. They're playing a part of this plan. So you got to watch out for humans now too. Not just the horses, but the humans that are controlled by the horses. Just want to let you know I'm always on the case, and I'll keep you updated with everything new that I find. All right, I'm going to have nightmares now. Can you take that off the screen? Bamboo Harvester. I wonder, do they eat bamboo? I bet they do.
Good name for a horse.
Yes, because it looks like, you're chomping right through bamboo. All right, let's do a movie review before the news. I found that the more popular the movie was, the more views I get on YouTube. So I'm doing Willow, 1988 movie Willow. This was written by George Lucas. The screenplay was adapted later in the 80s. But he wrote it like early, like probably around the time Empire Strikes Back was being made. And back then, George Lucas had a real talent for understanding archetypes and like major thematic elements of good stories. And Willow has all of it. You know, first of all, you got the Moses beginning. All right, it's always a classic. You know, babies being sought after, and so they throw it into a river and send it down the river, and like, it gets found by Nelwins, who are the shorter.
Nobody believes the baby is alive. The baby died.
Yeah, they think the baby died.
Everyone thinks the baby's dead. There's no way the baby could exist in the new world.
It's very Moses. All right, and then they get adopted by Nelwins, and Nelwins are like, Jesus, the baby's huge. It's only going to get bigger.
And so the brownies, but that was later.
Yeah, that was later. They ran into the brownies, but that's the point. It's like there's all these different races. There's the brownies. There's the Nelwins. There's the Daikini, and there's racism. They have like racial slurs.
There's definitely
racial slurs for these things. And you know what? That's real. That's real in a fantasy world. Okay. It's like when Willow runs into Mad Mardigan again, and he goes, "Oh, you're crawling with brownies." And the chick's like, he's with is like, I hate brownies. And, you know, by the end of the movie, you end up hating brownies too. It's because Kevin Pollak and the other guy, they're just goofballs.
They're good.
They're good. They're the comic relief. And a lot of the stuff they did was on green screen. So when you consider like the technology.
Blue screen at the time.
Blue screen. That's right. That's right. And so, but that was all done fairly well for the 80s. The characters are great. First of all, for the ladies, let's talk about the ladies. Like Queen Bavmorda, great name. Powerful sorceress and scary looking woman. Great female character. The even better female character is Sorsha, her daughter. She named her daughter Sorsha, but she's a warrior. So there's a little backstory there you don't know. Was she not capable of magic?
No, Mom, I don't want to be like you.
I don't want to be a wizard. I want to be a soldier. Is there something like that? But Sorsha is a warrior and incredibly hot. Joanne Whaley, Val Kilmer's wife. Poor Val Kilmer. Yeah, she still good looking. She was also in the Man Who Knew Too Little. And she looked great in that. And she's like in her 40s. And she's a great character, powerful woman character, but you know she's still a woman because when Val Kilmer was in drag and he shoved her, you can see like in a fight, you know, he could easily take her. Like most men could take a woman, especially like the tiny ones like that. And the villains in general are great. And there's General Kale, the guy with the mask, where 99% of his acting was with his voice. Bring me the child. You know, it was great. He had that mask and that presence. You only saw his face like a couple of times.
Yeah, he was good.
But he was kind of a little bit Darth Vader-y, you know? Mad Mardigan, of course. You love him. He's funny. He's an interesting character. He's got a wavering moral code. And like almost everyone, he takes one look at the baby.
Han Solo before Han Solo.
Yeah, he was kind of a mix between Han Solo and Luke Skywalker. You know, kind of a mix between the two. And so But
I felt like Willow was more the...
he was more Obi-Wan.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I mean. It's like there's a lot of similar thematic elements that you see, like particularly like with between Willow and Indiana Jones and Star Wars. I'm skipping all over my notes here. Yeah. But Val Kilmer, God bless him, he's entertained us for years, but now he's not doing so well. So it's probably my favorite role of his. He was such a great character. Heroic, goofy, funny, heroic, brave. Everything a young boy wants to be when they grow up. You know what I mean? I'll talk about the Dust of Broken Heart for a second. So apparently, sometimes it works if you sneak into a woman's bedroom while she's sleeping and profess your love to her over and over again. Sometimes that works. Because he goes in to steal a baby from this room, but he got hit with the Dust of Broken Heart from the brownies. And he sees her and just can't help himself. You're my sun, my moon, my starlit sky. Without you, I dwell in darkness. He starts waxing poetic. I love you. Your touch is worth 100,000 deaths. It's great. It's great. And then the soldiers come in. Willow steals the baby. He grabs a sword, hits the main support of the tent pole, so the tent comes falling down.
It's
and
he grabs
Sorsha and kisses her. It's so awesome.
Phenomenal action sequence.
But after that scene, that's when they get on the shield and start sledding down the hill. And if you listen to the music during that scene, you're like, this music's familiar. Wasn't it in Raiders of the Lost Ark? And you're right. The music was in Raiders of the Lost Ark. All right. However, it's a fantastic action sequence. And unless you're really looking for it or you have a ridiculously useful memory like mine, ridiculous memory like mine, you can pick that stuff out. Let me see here. But obviously, there's a lot of familiar biblical Lord of the Rings type themes. Indiana Jones, Star Wars, obviously. But I mean, it's a pretty good movie for its day and age. 11 of 13 stars. They just don't make movies like this anymore. You stupid fat daikini. I like that. The brownies were like, everyone's fat. Because all you did was hang around and eat our eggs. Because they're so tiny, you know. Anyway, let's get into the news worth knowing. I want to talk briefly about the Tony Hinchcliffe situation.
This
guy, he's a comedian, you know. Accept that. But I mean, I kind of expected the Democrats to freak out because that's what they do. You come to expect it from them. I wish they wouldn't, but that's what they do. But I don't like the Republicans who are freaking out about this. Are you or are you not the party for the First Amendment? And if you believe in the First Amendment like I do, you can make fun of Puerto Rico all you want. You can make fun of Mississippi all you want. You can make fun of Virginia. You can make fun of this show all you want. That's the freedom of speech. All right?
It's also why we use disclaimers.
Yeah, it's why we use disclaimers.
Hey, Puerto Rico, this guy's a comedian. Don't take him seriously.
Yeah, don't take him seriously. But because, I mean, I think he missed an opportunity. I think he should have said, I hear this is floating patch of garbage out and it's Cuba. That would have been a better joke. So all I have for Tony Hinchcliffe is notes. But I'm kind of pissed off about Trump. I don't even know the guy. I was like, whatever, I don't care. None of it really matters in the end, even though I'm mentioning it first thing. Anyway. All right, let's go to the first story. Supreme Court temporarily halts lower court ruling ordering 1,600 voters back on Virginia voter rolls. Close to home here. Supreme Court today agreed to take up an emergency challenge from Virginia, temporarily halting the federal judge's decision that ordered it to reinstate hundreds of potential non-citizens to the state's voter rolls. The decision is a victory for Governor Glenn Youngkin that comes just days after the state of Virginia filed an emergency appeal to the Supreme Court to halt a lower court decision ordering it to restore the names of 1,600 individuals, to its voter rolls.
You're going to have to explain what that means in layman's terms.
I'll read on it, shall we? because I'm still trying to figure it out.
I don't understand what happened.
All right. We are pleased by today's order, Youngkin said to Fox News. He described it as a victory for common sense and election fairness. I'm grateful for the work of the Attorney General, blah, blah, blah. At the heart of the case is whether the Virginia voters' removal process violates a so-called quiet period under the National Voter Registration Act or federal law requiring the states to halt a systematic voter roll maintenance for a 90-day period before a federal election. The argument pitted against the Department of Justice, which sued the state over its removal of the program earlier this month, against Youngkin, who insisted the state's process is individualized and conducted in accordance with state and federal law. Justice Department officials reiterated the argument on Wednesday following the Supreme Court decision. Yeah, I'm just getting more confused. How about you?
Yeah.
Okay. The Department...
I don't understand how this is a win.
I'm trying to figure it out. All right, let's see if I can find Virginia's...
I want to get you on your side, man.
Yeah.
Give me a reason.
Okay, all right. Virginia's voter roll maintenance program was implemented in August and compares the state of Department of Motor Vehicles... All right. Compares the state Department of Motor Vehicles list with self-identified non-citizens to its list of registered voters. So these people were being put onto a voter list just because they're in the DMV's database.
Ah.
I think we figured it out. And that shouldn't be the case. Just because you can get a license doesn't mean you should be able to vote. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
All right. So that's why it's a win. Took a while to get there.
Yeah.
God, I'm stupid.
No, I don't think you were stupid. I didn't understand it either.
Well, I understood it first. I'm smarter.
That was
Anyway.
confusing. It was a confusing headline.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. Yeah. It took a while to get to the, what they call the burying the lead. Anyway.
Well, yeah. I mean, the headline doesn't really give you the most important thing.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the headline.
I know. Don't get me started. How many times am I on here like reading a news story and I'm editing the stuff? It's like, who wrote this?
I'm so confused.
Idiot. Don't trust spell check. Kansas City welcomes 500,000 people annually. All right, let's go to the next story. Slowly getting to more fun stories. Major Blue City mayor scolds media, asking about Trump being Hitler. Enough of this, he said. I can't do an Eric Adams. Enough of this. The city of New York. All right, so New York Mayor Eric Adams condemned the media for asking him about comparisons of former President Trump to Nazi dictator Adolf Hitler, arguing that they are out of touch with the American people. Eric Adams is saying this. All right, at his weekly news conference at City Hall Tuesday, Adams bristled at questioning, asking whether Trump is a fascist, a line of criticism that has especially come to the fore after Trump's recent rally in the Madison Square Garden in New York. With all this going on, to everyday New Yorkers, we're asking questions that, is someone fascist or is someone a Hitler? That's insulting to me. That is insulting, Eric Adams said. I'm not going to engage in that. Everyone needs to turn down the rhetoric because after Election Day, we still have to be the United States and not the divided states, said Eric Adams. And so if people can't understand what the real issues facing New Yorkers, and I just find it humiliating that what everyday mom and pops are doing and going through across the country, that we're here having this conversation about this silly item. Eric Adams said. So I refuse to participate in that. I'm going to fight for New Yorkers like I've done for years, and whomever can't understand that, they're not in the streets. When I'm at these town halls talking to people there, you're not asking me these silly questions. That's right. The people have different questions than the press does, don't they? Adams went on to warn journalists that like many politicians are in a bubble, that journalists, many politicians are in a bubble that leaves them out of touch and focus on stories about fascism comparisons instead of common Americans' concerns. We are in this bubble, you know. I'm going to stop trying to do the accent. We're in this bubble, you know. And I know you guys really believe these stories you're writing. It gives you a lot of clicks. It's exciting. It gives you headlines. But this is not what New Yorkers and Americans are dealing with, folks. They are scared of their future. Someone needs to stand up and say enough of this. Then he underlined his point. Tone down the rhetoric. Let people hear the facts. Let them vote, and let's decide the next 4 years are going to be for our city. And that's my position. I cannot make it any clearer. Adams slammed Trump's Madison Square Garden rally on Sunday for promoting, quote, hateful words from an invited guest speaker, despite Trump's favorable shout-out to the mayor during the event. Last week, Adams came to Trump's defense amid increasing claims from Trump's critics, including Harris, we're all right. I've had these comments hurled at me by some political leaders in my city. My answer is no, Adams said Saturday about the slams against Trump. I know what Hitler has done, and I know what a fascist regime looks like. I think, as I have called for over and over again, that level of conversation, I think we can all dial down the temperature, he added. So he's still a Democrat, but he's starting to become reasonable. And I don't know if it's probably because, like, he went against the party recently. I'm trying to remember what he did. I think he said something like, no, we need to fund the police. Because he's realizing, the crime in New York is getting out of control. We need to fund the police, and that goes against the party's positioning. And so all of a sudden, this scandal about him accepting money comes out. See what I'm saying?
Catchy biz.
So he has been on the receiving end of the of the blue machine. You know what I mean? So now he's starting to realize, maybe they were right. You can disagree with this all you want about it, like plenty of other things. But this nonsense about Trump being Hitler, people can't afford candy. And I want candy. Tomorrow's Halloween, and I better get some candy. It's a hill I'm going to die on. I deserve candy. It's Halloween. I deserve candy, damn it. All right, let's go to the next story. Colorado Airbnb host faced $16,000 in damages after suspected migrant gang members destroyed the property. So cigarette butts, gum, cans, empty bottles, and bags of drugs littered in an Airbnb property hidden away in the Colorado mountains after one guest's brief stay turned into a long-standing problem brought on by suspected gang-related chaos, leaving host Karen Martiz facing thousands of dollars in repair while the property remains damaged and temporarily useless. Quote, I put all my energy and love into this property to make it beautiful for my guests. It's a beautiful place. Everybody loved it. We have been hosting for 2 years, and this was the first time that I showed up here and my house was completely destroyed. I couldn't believe it. She told Fox News earlier today. The property is located in Evergreen, west of Denver. It's marked as a no-smoking property. I bet that eats them up the most. I bet she's an ex-smoker. And she's like, I'm never going to get the smell of cigarettes out of here, and I am never going to be able to step foot in here again. I'm sure that's a big issue. Anyway, and that didn't stop the guests who checked in to stay over the weekend and the people who brought along for a massive party. Its living space was emptied, walls dirtied, carpet stained and marred by gum. Gum was stuck to the walls and the ceilings. Ugh. She felt disrespected and violated. She has no choice but to replace the entire carpet. $16,000 in damages. It was a horrible scene, she said. When I walked in the house, I couldn't believe I was actually living this. Because you live it, and you're like, is this even something that could happen to people? Who talks like that? Anyway, local authorities told Fox 31 they suspected members of the Venezuelan migrant gang Tren de Aragua. They've been coming up more and more. It was behind the destruction, but they cannot specify why. Okay, they're just guessing, I suppose. Police told Martiz the same. She additionally shared with Fox News that a neighbor present nearby. The chaos occurred hearing gunshots from the property. So I guess a neighbor heard chaos and gunshots from the property. It's very real, this group of people, Tren de Aragua, what they're doing to people like me. Police believe that there is somewhere between 80 and 100 people behind the damage. So I bet when everything was going on there, it's like the cops were on top of it. They heard about all this stuff going on, so they knew they're tracking who's coming, who's going, guessing how many people are on the property. Holy cow! The entire ordeal has sidelined Martiz for now because she leaving her to wonder how she'll cover the expenses without raking in income from the property. Yeah, she can't make money off of it anymore. So we're not going to be able to rent our property for about a month until we get everything fixed. That means we're not going to have a guest in our house, and definitely this is something that helps us pay our bills, our mortgage, keeps everything be able to afford a beautiful home, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, yeah. I don't know about you, but I don't think I'd ever do Airbnb. I don't know. See, I don't like any of those like sharing things. I don't like Airbnb. I don't like what are they called? Like rideshare, Uber, Lyft. What's the food ones? What are they called? See, I don't use them, so I don't know what they call. Uber Eats, I think, is one. DoorDash, yeah. Okay. See, I don't even like those. It's like they're making money hand over fist by just having an app. You know? You take all the liability, and the customer is like, if something goes wrong, who do you complain to? They're like, well, that's a private contractor. We have no control over them. It's like, we have no legal liability. You know? I don't like that stuff. Anyway, let's get into some happier stories before we get on out of here. Gonna talk some baseball? I wish I had money to gamble with. Because I knew the Yankees were going to win last night. I'm pretty sure the Yankees are going to win tonight. Aren't they playing tonight? So the Yankees believe they still have a shot at the World Series after a crucial win over the Dodgers. LA looks to win Game 5. The Yankees finally put together an offensive performance their fans had hoped for in the beginning of their matchup with the Dodgers and avoided a World Series sweep on Tuesday night. 11-4. Yeah, there are a lot of offense. A grand slam. A lot of grand slams this year in the postseason. Dodgers still lead the series 3-1. Game 5 set for Wednesday night in the Bronx at 8:08 p.m. Yep, it is tonight. The Yankees needed hope, and they received it in the form of Anthony Volpe, grand slam a few innings after Freddie Freeman put the Dodgers up 2-0 in the first inning with another home run. Yeah, he's hit a home run in every single game so far, Freddie Freeman. It is sick. There's a lot of good play. Like, I mean, I know I mentioned like Ohtani. I mean, he's obviously a really good player, but I mean, they got Mookie Betts, they got, Freddie Freeman, a lot of good players on their team. That's why Dodgers, I think, are going to win it in 6. It's my dream. It's all my friends' dreams, all my cousins' dreams, probably my sister's dream too. But winning the World Series goes first and foremost by far. Nothing else compares. So we still got a lot of work to do. Volpe told Fox Sports' Derek Jeter after the game. This time, New York did not face any Dodgers starters. LA manager Dave Roberts used all relievers from start to finish to give his rotation a break. See what I mean? They wanted to lose. They want to bring the series back home and bring the win back home in LA. This is why I think I could win money gambling postseason baseball, because they want that money. Coin flip did not pay off. Wait, hold on. Once the Yankees bats got going, they did not appear they would stop. Dodgers will look to close out the series as Jack Flaherty is set to start. Yankees will try to force a Game 6 back in Los Angeles with Garrett Cole as a starter. So as far as outcomes, you have 6 guys in the pen that are feeling good, rested. I feel good about that. Freeman has homered in 6 straight World Series games. I'll look back on it after. Hopefully we win and get this thing done tomorrow, Freeman said. Pretty cool. Obviously I can keep it going tomorrow. Yeah, he's pretty confident. But I like his quote. I'll look back on it after. Hopefully we win. Like his focus is the next game. And that's a sign of a good player. The home runs help too. No team has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit in the World Series. The only one team to come back from a 3-0 deficit in any series were the 2004 Boston Red Sox, who did it against the Yankees in the ALC. American League Championship, sorry. We are going to fight. Dodgers outfielder Mookie Betts said, if you made it this far, you have a resilient team that's going to fight the whole time. Wednesday night is another chance for the Yankees to go 1-0. We're in a tough position. There's a lot of baseball left to be played, and anything could happen, Cole said via MLB.com. We're still in the World Series. Hey, we're in the Bronx. We still got a shot at this thing. So go Dodgers. I hope they win, and if you're a betting person, I'd say Dodgers in 6. They want to bring the win home. A lot of money to be made. You know what I'm saying? For a final World Series winning game at home, a lot of money to be made.
Rigged.
Yeah. People are like, oh, baseball is honest. I don't know. Because I guarantee you they got a phone call. Dodgers got a phone call. It's like, rest your guys, rest your starters.
You don't got to sweep them.
Yeah, you don't got to sweep them.
Let's make this thing last.
Yeah. We're raking in that
World
dough.
Series, calm down.
Yeah.
We know you ain't been here. Act like you've been here before.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Because
sweeping people. You don't understand how marketing works?
Yes, exactly. And so when this season is over, they're going to sell off all those players, like every World Series winning team. Then they're going to go back to the farm system, bring up some younger guys, and start building again. And then the stands won't be as filled. You know what I mean? How it always goes. All right, let's get into the happier stories before we get out of here. Holy cow, 252. Pizza shop sells 60 pies contaminated with THC.
Immediately sells 120 more pies.
Yeah, yes, exactly. I don't know if they're contaminated, but I do know that it's
extra topping, more like.
Yeah, it's. If anything, it's an illegal marketing scheme. All right, so a pizzeria in Staunton, Wisconsin, has apologized repeatedly after it accidentally sold 60 pizza pies that were made with oil contaminated with THC. At Famous Yeti's Pizza, we are committed to the safety and trust of our community, and we want to provide a transparent update for the recent incident involving contaminated pizza. Cale Ryan, owner of and operator of Famous Yeti's Pizza, told Fox News Digital in an emailed statement. Ryan continued, we have been working closely with Staunton Police and Dane County Public Health to trace the issue, which was linked to oil mistakenly used from an on-site cooperative commercial kitchen. This oil, intended for another business using food-grade hemp, contained Delta-9. Both the police department and health department confirmed Fox News Digital that they've been working with the shop on the matter. The oil was stored properly in accordance with local guidelines, but he added that there would be additional safeguards put into place. Delta-9 is a chemical found in cannabis, the most abundant form of tetrahydrocannabinol, and causes a psychoactive reaction when consumed, according to the website Healthline. While it is illegal to produce or consume cannabis in Wisconsin, including for medical reasons, products that contain 0.3 or less of Delta-9 THC derived from hemp, however, are legal, according to the website Wisconsin Cannabis Information. Moving forward, we will no longer allow Delta-9 or related substances to be stored at our facility. Noting that he is grateful for the support his restaurant has received, over the past week. News of contaminated pizza first shared on October 24th on Famous Yeti's Pizza Facebook page. Deep regret that this is a quote, with deep regret, we inform you the potential contamination involving pizza sold between Tuesday, October 22nd, 4:30 p.m. and Thursday, October 24th at 12 p.m. In the post, Ryan said there are reports of unexplained physical reactions after customers ate the pizza, and they underwent investigation with the Staunton police and local health officials. Today it was confirmed that the pizza had been sold with dough mistakenly prepared with Delta-9 contaminated oil. The oil accidentally used in the product originated from shared storage. Okay, we got it. It said all the contaminated products have been destroyed. Yeah, right. I guess make pizzas on and take the pizzas home. They called it a horrendous mistake. Look, when you eat weed, when you eat like edibles and so forth, it's like that's when you're more likely to have like a psychoactive experience. It's better to smoke it. And with the proliferation of THC and THC products everywhere, I'm surprised this kind of stuff doesn't happen more often. I'm surprised like kids are getting into candy and blowing their minds at a young age. So I mean, generally, when it comes to weed, I'm like, I don't think it's necessarily a big problem, but when it's everywhere, then I think it becomes a problem. Anyway, let's go on this last story and we'll get out of here. A little happier story. Pet kangaroo escapes. Furry fugitive leads police on a street chase caught on camera. A dungaroo. Wait, what?
Durangaroo.
Durangaroo?
A Durangaroo.
Durango, Colorado. I get it. That's a EK joke. One unusual pet has returned to its owner after a hot pursuit caught on police camera last month. Irwin, the juvenile red kangaroo, was safely returned to its family after police officers in Durango, Colorado, successfully wrangled the lost animal. I'm sure that's what cops sign up for. They go home, it's like, that's what I signed up for, to wrestle a kangaroo in North America. All right. In a popular Facebook post, the Durango Police Department shared body cam footage of DPD officers Prescorn, Walters, and Hammer hopping to it to rescue Irwin. Puns. In the video, officers can be seen talking to one another while a little red kangaroo hops across the intersection down the street. One of the officers asks out of frame, would you think it'd be better if I just use my hands? She then asked, does it have rabies? That thing's going to kick me. Body cam video cuts to the kangaroo safely out of the streets of Durango and in someone's arms. Officers gently pet the creature. One officer offered its hand to its snout for a quick sniff. One officer could be heard saying to the kangaroo, so soft, really soft, what's its name? Irwin. Kangaroo is then named with the man holding the animal saying, Irwin, like Steve Irwin. Steve Irwin, better known as a crocodile hunter, was from Australia where kangaroos originate. Think that was necessary?
I don't think that was necessary. That sounded all like you're just trying to fill this article with information.
Yeah.
Because the story wasn't a story.
Yeah, it's not a story.
Hey, here's this funny thing I saw.
Yeah.
And then you tried to make it a whole story.
Yeah. Facebook post sharing Durango police said, breaking news, our officers were in hot pursuit of a kangaroo. Look closely, it's a little guy. No worries, the long-legged friend was released to their owner and we're seriously reconsidering cardio. Yeah, you should. You're cops. It is unknown whether the owner or who the owner of Irwin the kangaroo is, and little Irwin is completely unharmed during the incident. It is legal for private citizens to own kangaroos in the state of Colorado, according to Colorado Parks and Wildlife. But why? Why is that legal? No roos were harmed in the filming of this video. Durango PD clarified the Facebook post. The top comment simply reads, a Durangaroo. See, I love the internet. I love that, you get a whole bunch of information very quickly and so forth.
And all of it can be useless?
But, well, it's like when they trying to come up a name for the ship and they went to ask the internet to, like, what should we name the ship? It's Bodie McBoatface.
Bodie McBoatface.
And everyone just started hopping on the Bodie McBoatface train. So the internet is kind of stupid, too. Anyway. After all, they let me...
The problem is it's the sum of all the intelligence, which means that the average is none.
Yeah, the average is none. We're all stupid. Anyway, after all, they let me on the internet. I'm allowed here. So. Anyway, this is going to be the end of the show. I want to remind you again that I have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Become a patron today. I would appreciate it. You can also send me money through Cash App. Use the hashtag shockmonkeyradio, all one word. Follow me on social media at DNALETSAW on Twitter. That's the word wasteland spelled backwards on Twitter. At SLRobbins13 on Instagram. And you can find Shock Monkey Radio Redux on Facebook. You can follow me there as well. This has been Shock Monkey Radio. I'm the Madman, and I love you.